Verbier in the Swiss Alps is the historic and legendary place for the final of the Swatch Freeride World Tour.
Verbier is a freeride mecca, you know. There's a lot of great ski areas in this part of the Alps and the Valais, but a lot of the best riders congregate here. It's just the best lift-accessed off-piste terrain that this part of the world has to offer.
Only the highest placed athletes qualified to compete in Verbier on the face of the Bec de Rosse. Beginning with the women's snowboard competition and Margot Rosier of France dropping in on the shoulder of the Bec on the right-hand side. Riding with good speed and technique down the upper section, she hit the cliff below and stomped the next two airs perfectly into powdery landings, taking third place. Local Swiss rider Estelle Ballet was given a wild card to compete at the Extreme this year. She chose to go straight into the right-hand couloir, riding fast without hesitation and keeping control for a second place. France's Elodie Mouton started her run off at speed, hitting the first cliff zone confidently and landing well in the steep powder. She was the standout for the judges and not only takes first place, but also the overall title of World Champion Snowboard Women. In the snowboard men's category, it was a hard-fought battle. Jonathan Charlet, last year's world champion, rode into the so-called heart of the Bec, taking a small air at the top and then making fluid powder turns. Heading deep into the band of rocks, Charlet dropped one big rock that killed his speed on the landing and then lost more fluidity waiting for his slough to disperse before hitting the next jump, which he landed cleanly into third place. Local rider Xavier Delarue dropping in left, he put in the first of his turns but then dramatically caught the nose of his board, flipping him over in a dangerously exposed section of the face. Digging in his edge, Delarue managed to stop himself, gather his wits and carry on. An impressively ballsy run, but unfortunately his mistakes would cost him his chance of a podium today. Back at the start gate, Aurélien Routin, a strong title contender, psyched himself up. Dropping right, he took his first air after traversing the ridge, followed immediately by another air, both cleanly landed. Carrying that speed and control with him, he powered down the face, hitting a series of small features at high speed. His run was good enough for a second place. USA's Ralph Backstrom was in his element, dropping behind the ridge, re-emerging onto the face to take a big cliff and stomp his landing. He finished at high speed in perfect control. This epic run earning him first place and the overall title of Freeride World Champion. With the last clouds disappearing from the contest venue, the ski men would face off against each other for their last showdown of the season. Whistler resident Laurent Gauthier went skiers right to the dogleg couloir, skiing the fall line in this steep, highly technical part of the face. He skied fast but in control, skillfully navigating his way down the couloir before exiting with a steep cliff drop. Drew Tabke, a strong favorite, dropping in skiers right, picked his way slowly around the top section, apparently struggling to find the line he'd chosen. Popping out of the couloir, he dropped a big 8-meter cliff, landing solidly despite an awkward bounce. Skiing cautiously, Tabke weighed up his options before dropping a final big cliff, clearing a projective rock successfully, and despite a heavy backslap on his landing, skied out to the bottom. Would that be enough for a title? France's Julien Lopez, taking a unique line at the top, skis and launches himself over the sharp rocks below, landing in an open section of the face. He made a series of big fast powder turns, keeping his speed and then hooking a right-hand turn at the bottom to drop the last cliff. Yes! Dropping in next was Kevin Goury from Les Menuires, France. He headed skiers right, dropping a major cliff and stomping his landing in style. He navigated several bands of rock before Goury launched into a 6-meter tight drop, boosting his score with the judges. An amazing run from the young Frenchman. Last year's world champion Rainer Barkered showed his exceptional skiing ability, handling this risky section with intelligence and control. Arriving in the central couloir, he started to speed up as he headed towards the Hollywood cliff, launching and stomping this massive drop. That meant the title of world champion for Drew Tabke, despite his 6th place finish, still had enough points to win the overall.
Winning the world title has always been my goal. I don't try to ski to win all competitions, but I've never had a podium here in Verbier on the Bec de Rosse, and that's just a really hard, amazing thing that some people never are able to do.
So here are the world champs: Elodie Mouton, Nadine Wallner, Ralph Backstrom, and Drew Tabke. An epic year of freeriding draws to a close once again.